but it was true prophecy. And still, it's still coming to pass today. And that's amazing that God would. And the little preacher never had met me. He'd never seen me before, Jonathan, and I ain't never seen him since. But see, he spoke things that are still coming to pass in my life. He's talking about God's blessings and God opening doors and God using us in a mighty way. And folks, it's happening today in Keavy. And what we have to do is just hold on to God. And folks, I could have walked away from that, and I could have not been obedient unto God, and all them promises would have been been in vain, because God can only bless the willing and the obedient. So, to B.J. McKinney, him and his wife was talking about, said somebody prophesied to them 28 to 30 years ago about them having a house in the southeastern part of Kentucky somewhere, and said it took 28 to 30 years to come to pass, but they have a home down there, a beautiful home, and then they have another building, and then another building. I mean, God has blessed them in abundance, but it didn't happen overnight, Brother Bill. And in the things of God will prophesy something to us a lot of times, and we want it right then. But God says you've got to wait a while, but my blessings will come to pass if it's a true prophet of God that spoke it. Amen. Under prophet's ministry, God may reveal direction for someone's life. Prophet is sent to confirm God's will for your life, not to lead it. And a lot of times people want to say, give me a word, preacher. And I can give you a whole book of words, 66 books of words. And folks, we need to be careful. And it says as many as are led by the Spirit of God. It says not by prophecy, not by a prophet. But folks, if you're born again of God, then God is able to speak to you, and He is able to lead you. And we just have to train ourselves to stay at His feet and listen to the voice of God. It says prophecy sent to confirm God's will, not to lead. God sent His Spirit into your heart and life to lead, to guide, to teach. To quench it or to despise it would be to override your conscience, to do it anyway. And I wrote down, look out. And there's people that override their conscience. And folks, it's only with a pure conscience can we please God. It's only with a pure conscience can we stand before God and we command devils to leave. We command sickness to leave. We must have a clear conscience before God, and then we can stand in His presence. The little word to despise means to look down on, to scorn, to think not important, folks. And true prophecy, and even preaching today, is a type of prophecy, Brother Jonathan. When we're preaching under the anointing and inspiration of God, and then it edifies us, and also it reproves us sometimes. Being around the great men of God reproves me sometimes. It gives a check in my life for areas that needs fixing. Despite or in spite of, regardless of, and it's warnings. And King Saul, there's a warning come to him. And it says that he sought after God, but God would not answer him. And folks, whenever we get hard-hearted against God, then God can be speaking. He'll be speaking through the TV evangelist. We'll turn the radio on, and He'll speak through the radio man. He'll take somebody and sing a song. I mean, God's trying to get our attention a lot of times. And that anointing of prophecy, it said the Spirit of Christ is a spirit of prophecy. To Naaman goes to David and warns David. To Samson, his parents warned him. The prodigal son, can you imagine? It says he found himself in the pig pen of the world. And he says he came to himself. How far do we have to go? I mean, how low do we have to go before we start calling out unto God? And I don't want to get into trouble. I want to call on God early, don't you? And I want to live a life that's pleasing unto Him. Sister Mary, come if you will. But to despise not prophesying. We enjoy when people, God will send us a word. And we've got different ones. Pastor Dale prophesied, says, greater days ahead. And we wrote it down, and we've got the date. And folks, we're living in some of them greater days in Keavy. And God's hand is upon us, and God's doing great things. And folks, we'd like to invite everyone that would to come out and be a part of us. We have our Sunday school at 10, church at 11, Sunday night at 6. Also then Wednesday night youth 6 to 8, and also Thursday night from 7 to 9 or 9:30 usually. And folks, we'd like to invite from people from all walks of life to come. And rich, poor, black, or white, we'd like to invite you to come and be a part of a great work in Keavy. We're located on Keavy Highway 363, across from Locust Grove Cemetery. There are names on the sign outside. Pleasant Springs Christian Church. And God bless you is our prayer, Sister Murray.